Hi, and welcome to the Hypnotize Me podcast, the podcast about hypnosis, transformation, and healing. I'm Dr. Liz, Dr. Elizabeth Bonet, and I am happy to be here today. We are going to talk about happiness. One, it's, again, one of the most common New Year's resolutions that people make is to feel happier, to feel better. Two, I think we're all trying to strive towards that in some form. And this is often why people come into my office, actually, is to feel happier, to feel more stable is sometimes how they put it, to take away the panic attacks, to take away the anxiety. But when we're talking about that, we're saying, how do I feel better? How do I feel happier? And believe me, this has been a lifelong study for me. Is happiness. Like, how do you feel good? And not just as a psychotherapist, but also as my own personal journey. I've been suicidal several times in my life. And when I've gotten to that place, I've never attempted, happiness looks so far away, right? Like it looks like way over across the other side of the world. That's what it looks like to me. Like it's this feeling of not wanting to live, of nothing has meaning, of dragging myself out of bed and trying to find reasons to stay alive. And once I became a mother, several of those episodes, I had suicidal after both of my births, postpartum depression, but then at a separate time later down the road, all of those times, it was like, I didn't have the option to off myself because I had kids, honestly. Like I wasn't willing to do that to them. But I totally get it when people get in so much pain that they feel like even their kids and their loved ones would be better off without them. Like their very presence is just causing them pain. That is the thought that happens. I don't think that's the reality. I don't think that's the truth. But that's what you believe often when you're feeling that unhappy, when you're feeling that low, when you're feeling that depressed. So I'm always looking for studies, books, everything that says, okay, how do you feel happier in general? And to me, it became a process that my own therapist taught me about protecting myself against depression. Like, okay, I know I have to do this, this, and this to protect myself from going into depression. That's been part of my journey is to, when I get the first glimmers of depression or something like that coming, that I go into action for that. Like, okay, I know I need to do this, this, and this to get myself in gear and to stop this now before it gets more severe. So I just wanted to share that with you. Like, I get it. This is not a podcast where it's like everything is happy, shiny. Okay. I am all about reality. I'm all about like, yeah, life is hard sometimes. And how do we make it easier? I feel like I need to speak the truth around that and not just be like, oh, go to this and this will fix you. Like, that's just not me at all. A lot of treatment, a lot of life is hard work and putting in the time and effort to do that. So, one study I read, and I wish I could find it now, but I can't, is that when people put happiness front and center, they're actually less happy. Like, this is surprising, right? Like, what? But I believe it too at the same time because it can become this obsessive process. Like, oh my gosh, I have to be happy. I have to be happy. Why am I not? Why am I not? And oftentimes the work I do in my office with people is finding moments of happiness versus trying to think like I am happy, period. Okay. Like we all go through emotional states in our day. We all go through ups and downs. And overall, we want to feel like overall we feel happier. But also, like, let's look at very small moments that make us happy. Perhaps when you see your child come out of school, like that makes me really happy every time. Perhaps when you see a beautiful flower. Perhaps when you step outside and the weather is just gorgeous. Perhaps huddling under your quilt or your blanket, perhaps that makes you happy. Like just catching those smaller moments instead of reaching for this very vague, undefined happiness, quote unquote. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing that I want to say before we really talk about this is that not everyone believes that the goal is happiness in life. There's so much suffering in the world, and the goal is rather to find meaning, not that, oh, I'm never going to suffer and I don't want to. Like, no, people suffer. We all suffer in different ways, but the more that you can find meaning, then that's really the goal versus happiness, quote unquote. Scott Peck writes about that a lot. I picked up one of his books recently. It's an old book, The Road Less Traveled and Beyond. And he talks about this in his book about meaning, finding meaning versus, are you going to walk out and be happy all the time? Like, no, you may not. Meaning may give more purpose and depth to your life than quote unquote happiness, this temporary pleasures. So those are two things that I wanted to say. And then I went to get to this study that I found in terms of how hypnosis can help happiness. Before I talk about this, I am going to say that at the end of this podcast, there is a hypnosis for happiness. Okay, for like a future-based kind of happiness. I took one aspect of that program and said, hey, let's do this. So a gong is going to sound before that happens. And if you're driving, you need to make sure you turn off the podcast, okay? Or if you're like, let's say in the gym or something, right? Like turn off the podcast. Don't listen to it in the gym or while you're driving. Like wait to listen to that when you're in a safe place where you can relax. This study was done by Nicole, and I'm going to butcher her last name, just going to tell you right here, and I apologize to her in advance. Ruschart. Not a bad shot, right? Ruysschart. Ruschart, Nicole Ruschart. It was published in the American Journal of Clinical Hypnosis in 2014, so pretty recently, as this podcast goes to air. And she looked at this whole program of happiness. Like, all right, what do we do? Do we just do hypnosis? And can we affect happiness that way? Or do we need to do all these other things? Like she looked at a lot of research around this. And what she found is a couple of things. So the act of receiving hypnosis and positive imagery makes people happier, period. Okay. I think this is so funny, but it makes sense, right? Like, oh, you get to lie down somewhere and get some positive imagery and relax and rest. Like, yeah, why wouldn't that make you feel a little happier, right? Like, that's awesome. So she found that reliving positive experiences from the past will help people feel happier. So when you recall something really good that happened to you, that makes you feel happier. Gratefulness diaries. Like this has been researched a lot, actually, and I'm going to read you some of what she put in her study. So there was a study done in 2003 by Emmons and McCullough, and the participants were 3 conditions. So one group was asked to write down 5 things they were grateful for that happened in the last week for each of the 10 weeks of the study. This is called gratitude condition. Second group was asked to write down 5 daily hassles from the previous week. And then the third group just listed 5 events without being told whether to focus on positive or negative. Okay, so 3 groups. People in the gratitude condition that recalled happy things that happened to them. Oh, okay, this is a total tongue twister. I can't say it. People that recalled happy things that happened to them. Okay. There you go. They felt 25% happier. And they measure these on like different scales and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. They were more optimistic about the future. They felt better about their lives. They even exercised about an hour and a half more per week than those in the hassles condition, or the just like write about whatever you want, positive or negative events condition is what they called it. So that's pretty significant, right? Like that is really good, I think. So gratitude journals, absolutely. Then what she did is have people read their gratitude journals and re-experience some of that under hypnosis. So the sounds, the feelings, the sensations, like really solidify some of those positive experiences from the past under hypnosis. So that is really interesting. And she felt like that helped happiness. Another thing was feeling more connected to someone who influenced your life positively in the past. So that's another thing. Like you can write them letters or give them a phone call, like something like that. And then more connected to people in general, but particularly that you're contributing. So doing some kind of service that has meaning to it for you. I will say that service has been a huge part of my life. But from time to time, I'll sign up for something. It's just not a good fit for me. And then I don't like going. It doesn't feel good. So I've come to recognize that over the years. Like, okay, I need to find something that's a good fit in terms of service, not just do anything. All right. So keep that in mind. And then the other thing that she talks about is future-based happiness under hypnosis. So going to the future and imagining yourself happy, like imagining a happy event, and then wrapping those feelings up under hypnosis and then bringing them back to the present and then opening them again. Like, yeah, that's amazing. Like our imagination is amazing. That is how I feel. Like we can affect so much stuff in our body, our immune systems, our psychology with our imagination. I just think it's like this lovely gift to us, our imaginations. That is what we're going to do today. Actually, we're doing a future-based hypnosis. And of course, you're going to pick the event, right? I'm not going to name it for you because you're just listening to this. I don't know you. So there's no way I could do that. I'm not going to say in the future, we're all going to such and such. Like, no. Right? It's individual for everybody. So you're going to pick the event, but I'm going to guide you through that and then guide you through wrapping up those feelings and bringing them back to the present. Again, you can always feel free to listen to this at any time. Feel free to share it. Podcasts are free, right? So they're a wonderful thing to share with friends. So we're going to have fun with this. So to just wrap up, these were different factors she found that affected happiness in her study, and they're wonderful things to think about, to put on your long-term goal list, like all of that stuff, okay? Before we get started with the hypnosis, remember you can find all kinds of stuff out about me. That sounds stalkerish, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. You could just go to my website, drlizhypnosis.com, if you want more free hypnosis files, or you want to buy some. Or maybe you're local to the Fort Lauderdale, Broward County area, and you want to come in and work on feeling better, work on feeling happier. I am right there with you. So if you're driving, this would be the time to turn the podcast off. Okay, go listen to another one, something like that, because we're about to go into hypnosis. And if you're not driving, great. Like find a comfortable place to sit down or relax in. And maybe your office, it may be your car, it may be at home. Any of those will work. Maybe you're out at a park. That would be awesome, right? Just make sure it's a safe place though. All right, here we go. Simply begin to relax your breath and relax your body. Quickly scan the body for any area of tension. And if you notice an area, just feel it soften and let that tension go. Let the breath slow. If you haven't closed your eyes yet, roll them all the way up to the sky or ceiling and then close them from top to bottom. And put yourself into a dreamlike state. You can notice that a wave of relaxation spreads across your body. You can start at the bottom of your feet and move all the way up your body. And now let's start above the head and let it move all the way down beyond your feet. And as you do that, feel your whole body going into a deeper relaxation. Let it feel wonderful. Imagine it is beautiful. And in this moment, let yourself feel good. No matter what else is going on in your life. And with each exhale, as you go deeper into relaxation, just let background noises become background. Let them fade into the distance. It's okay if my voice does that too, or you can choose to pay attention to every single word. Either one is okay. It's up to you. What matters is that you're here and you're using a tool to help yourself feel more relaxed and happier. Now, if you're ready, you can think of a specific time in the future. Take a moment to really get this into your mind and think of where you are in that specific time. Choose something that you're doing. Or not doing. Perhaps you're relaxing. And when you've got that specific time in mind in the future, look around you and notice how it smells, what the air is like. What's the temperature? And what sounds are around you? It may be very peaceful and quiet, or there may be specific sounds in your future event, in your future place, in your future time. Notice that there's a smile on your face. It may be large, it may be small and slight, but it's there. And that you feel incredibly content and happy. There may be excitement along with that happiness. There may be contentness. But the feeling is there. This is the time to feel that. And to let that feeling of happiness spread all through your body, down to the tips of your toes, down through your fingertips, into your very relaxed body. And notice how it does that in the future, how your whole body seems to resonate with happiness. This feels so good. Like a beautiful warm feeling in your body and in your soul and in your heart. If there are others around you in this future place and time, let them notice how happy you are. Let them see you glowing and feeling so good about yourself. Notice that they are happy for you as well. They are happy for your happiness. Notice if you're doing anything specific. And if you are, notice how happy you feel doing that, how good it feels, how it feels wonderful in your body. You may even have tears of joy flowing down your face, or you may not. But notice this in your future time and place. Now let's imagine storing those feelings, being able to hold on to them, and feeling them deep, deep within your body and every cell, those feelings of happiness and contentness and joy. And imagine them as a special gift that you take back with you, back into the present, that you're able to time travel with those beautiful feelings of happiness and joy and contentment. Imagine wrapping them up and bringing them back to the present. And then imagine them as expanding into every single cell in your body now. What beautiful gift you've given yourself. Imagine being able to access those feelings, that gift at any time that you need to. And that you'll be able to do this as you move forward in your life towards that future time and event. Doesn't matter whether it actually happens or not. What matters is that you have that gift to give to yourself now, and that you're able to access those feelings whenever you need to. You're able to rest for a moment, close your eyes, and feel the feelings of happiness, contentment, and even joy spread through your body. If you like, you can try that now. And it's time to return to the present. Perhaps you're listening to this and you've fallen asleep and it's nighttime and you'd like to sleep throughout the rest of the night. You'll be able to do that. You'll have a deep and restful sleep, and you'll ignore the numbers that I'm about to count. You'll wake up in the morning feeling rested and refreshed and ready to go about your day and able to access feelings of happiness when you need to. But if you need to wake up and go about your day and reorient to whatever you need to do, then I'm going to count from 5 to 1, and when I reach 1, you'll be able to do that easily, feeling more energized for the rest of your day. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.